You know, some books don't just tell a story. They kind of change the way you see everything. And Paramahansa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi is definitely one of those books. It's a true spiritual classic that walks you through this incredible life, a life dedicated to the search for truth. So let's explore this amazing journey together, from the everyday to the miraculous, from the self to the self.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll follow Yogananda's life through 5 key stages. We'll start with his spiritual awakening as a kid, then we'll get into the profound lessons he learned from different saints. After that, we'll see the moment he finally found his guru, explore the spiritual science he was taught, and then we'll follow his mission to share that wisdom with the whole world.
Yogananda's story starts with a really remarkable idea. He describes his earliest memories, not of things that happened, but of just being aware. A consciousness that was there even when he was an infant. And this wasn't just, remembering being a baby. It was this deep sense that his identity was way more than just his physical body.
This quote right here, it's the foundation for his entire journey. What Yogananda is saying is that our true self, the part of us that's always us, isn't the body. It's the soul. Yeah, it's connected to our senses for a while, but its real nature isn't physical at all. For him, this wasn't just some philosophy. It was a memory, something he experienced from his earliest days. But, this deep, internal feeling was about to get tested by one of life's biggest challenges. When Yogananda was only 11 years old, his mother, who he absolutely adored, passed away. The grief was just immense, a sorrow so profound it left him feeling completely lost and questioning everything. But this awful tragedy actually set the stage for something truly mystical to happen.
So, the turning point came with this little thing his mother had given him, a sacred amulet, which he had lost. In the absolute depths of his grief, as he was praying, he felt this tangible presence. And then the lost amulet just mysteriously appeared in his hands. For a young kid, that's no coincidence, right? It was solid proof that some unseen divine power was real and was looking out for him.
That early conviction really set him on a quest. As a young man, he started seeking out all the holy men and saints of India. He was just hungry for a teacher who could guide him to a direct experience of God. And, his encounters taught him a super important lesson about what to look for on the spiritual path.
This slide shows a really fascinating contrast that became a huge lesson for him. On one side, you've got spectacle. Yogananda met a guy known as the perfume saint who could literally make the smell of any flower appear out of thin air. It was incredible to see, but Yogananda realized its purpose was pretty much just entertainment. Then on the other side, you had substance. He met Bhaduri Mahasya, the levitating saint, a man who had mastered these incredibly deep states of consciousness, but he always warned people not to get attached to these kinds of miraculous powers.
And this became a theme that just kept popping up. The levitating saint told him, "Love God more than you love meditation." He even joked that most people are more fond of union with food than union with God. The lesson was crystal clear. Spiritual powers, all the techniques, they're just tools. They are not the final destination. The real goal is connecting with the divine. It's about divine love.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. This ancient path of the yogis suddenly found an ally in, of all places, modern science. Yogananda met the great scientist Sir J.C. Bose. Using his amazing invention, the crystographer, which could magnify tiny movements up to 10 million times, Bose proved that plants have a sensitive nervous system. He showed they feel pain, joy, and fear. He even proved that metals get tired and can be killed. This was actual experimental proof of the ancient teaching that a single unified life force connects absolutely everything in nature.
So Yogananda had learned what to look for, and just as importantly, what to avoid. He was on the hunt for a master of true substance, a Jnanavatar, which literally means an incarnation of wisdom. And then one day, in a busy marketplace in Benares, his search came to a dramatic end. He found his guru, Sri Yukteswar.
And this wasn't just a meeting. It felt like a reunion. Sri Yukteswar's words show this profound, soul-deep connection that was already there between them. For Yogananda, this was the moment his life truly began. He had finally found his spiritual home, the guide who was going to lead him all the way to self-realization.
But life in his master's hermitage was, it was no walk in the park. Sri Yukteswar didn't offer any oily sympathy, as Yogananda put it. His training was tough, and his words were often blunt, even critical. He flat out said, "I am hard on those who come from my training. That is my way, take it or leave it."
This intense approach had one single purpose: to rudely break down that hard core of the human ego, the thing that blocks us from experiencing the divine.
Sri Yukteswar's lessons were often incredibly direct and practical. He once told a story about being a kid and hearing there was a ghost in a dark room. You know what he did? He ran in there immediately and was actually disappointed he missed it. The moral of the story? Look fear right in the face and it'll just disappear. Yogananda saw this happen when a cobra got dangerously close. While Yogananda was totally frozen in terror, Sri Yukteswar just calmly welcomed the snake and it peacefully slithered away. He taught that fear itself is the only real enemy we have.
All that tough training with Sri Yukteswar was preparing Yogananda for his life's big mission: to share a very specific, scientific, spiritual technique with the world. This was the ancient science of Kriya Yoga, a path that had been lost for centuries and was only recently revived.
So the key to understanding Kriya Yoga is right here. It's not just a belief system, it's a psychophysiological method. By controlling the life force or prana in the spine, a yogi can calm the heart and the nervous system way down. This super calm inner state lets you bypass all the usual mental chatter and distractions, and that leads you to a direct personal experience of the divine that's right inside you.
This inner science reveals some really profound truths about reality itself. Yogananda learns this lesson directly from the immortal master Babaji, who was the guru of his guru's guru. To teach him, Babaji just materializes a magnificent golden palace out of thin air and then makes it disappear the next day. The lesson was that the entire universe is just like that palace, a materialized thought of God, a kind of cosmic motion picture.
And this cosmic illusion has a name: Maya. It's this universal delusion that makes us see the world of opposites, light and shadow, good and evil, pleasure and pain, as the one and only reality. The yogis, through really deep meditation, learn how to tear that veil, to see past the cosmic movie, to the light of pure consciousness that's projecting the whole show. Only then can you know the one true God.
So, equipped with his guru's wisdom and the science of Kriya Yoga, Yogananda was finally given his mission: travel to the West and show the hidden unity between the original teachings of Jesus Christ and the original yoga of India. He was meant to be a bridge between East and West.
So, in 1920, Yogananda arrives in America, and his journey brings him face-to-face with some of the most remarkable people of that time. He met the brilliant horticulturist Luther Burbank, who he called an American saint because the man had such a deep spiritual reverence for nature. He traveled all the way to Germany to meet Therese Naumann, the famous Catholic mystic who apparently lived for years on nothing but light. And in 1936, he went back to India to meet with Mahatma Gandhi.
During his meeting with Gandhi, they talked about ahimsa, or nonviolence, the very principle that powered the movement symbolized by this flag. Gandhi's definition of ahimsa was the avoidance of harm to any living creature in thought or deed. When Yogananda asked if he could kill a cobra to protect the child, Gandhi said that he could not, because it would violate his personal vows of fearlessness and non-killing. He truly believed in conquering opponents with love, a principle Yogananda saw as a universal spiritual law.
Now we get to maybe the most astonishing event in the entire book. This happened after Yogananda's mission was already well underway. Months after his guru, Sri Yukteswar, had passed away, he appeared to Yogananda in a resurrected physical form. He came to explain the mysteries of the afterlife, describing this subtle astral world where souls go after death, a world of light and color, totally free from the heavy limitations of the physical world.
This incredible life, right? Filled with saints, science, and miracles. But it all boils down to a very simple and profound message. Yogananda taught that real change has to start from within. He said that any outer reforms can only last if they're based on inner spiritual reform. True brotherhood can only be built when we all start to realize the shared divine nature that's inside every one of us.
Yogananda's entire autobiography, really, is an exploration of this one single question. After witnessing his whole journey through India and the West, through science and miracles, what's the final answer? What's the point of this whole cosmic drama, this play of light and shadow?
In the end, the book gives us a pretty clear answer. The purpose of it all is just to remember who we truly are, to wake up from this dream of being a limited physical body and realize we are the immortal soul, to look past all the shadows on the screen of Maya and find that unchanging, ever-joyful divine presence that lives inside each and every one of us. And that is the journey's end, and also its beginning.